Hello everyone, I am Corporate Naps and welcome back to my channel. Wanted to come to you guys today with straight hair. I had mentioned in a previous video that I would come with my hair straight so that you guys could see it without the curls. I'm usually in the curls, and so this is what you have. I am about a week out from my last retie, and you can see that locks are different length, and probably you're able to tell that they're different sizes. But for those of you who do want a more in-depth look at my hair, I have created a Corporate Naps Instagram page. Please look at my banner and click on the Instagram logo, and that will give you an idea of what I do to my hair regularly. You will see pictures of braid locks, you will see updos, you will see curls, and there are some old pictures from when I first started back in 2015. As a reminder, I do have braid locks. I do not have sister locks, so they fall under the Microlocs category. I maintain my hair myself by using the 4-point rotation. So the topic of today, the top 10 reasons why your locks may be breaking. Yeah, the top 10 reasons why your locks may be breaking. Now, I do have my notes as usual down here, and so you will see me look down periodically. So remember to subscribe as well as hit that little notification bell so that you can ensure that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. So let's get started. Top 10 reasons why your locks may be breaking. Number one is nutrition. Many times, just based on what we're eating or not eating, also our water intake, which I consider to be nutrition, will have an effect on our locks, especially if we are deficient in something. And yes, I do believe that sometimes if we're eating an excess of certain items, it will have a negative effect on your hair as well. Think of it in terms of no different than your skin and your nails. If you're eating a lot of greasy food, a lot of processed foods, foods that have zero nutritional value, for some people, it will come across in your hair in the same way that for some, it comes across in your skin. So the first would be your nutrition / water intake. And we all know that water helps with everything. So you'll definitely want to, if you're seeing weak spots in your locks or different sections of your hair, you'll want to look at your water intake as well as look at your greens, right? So including leafy vegetables, including anything that has calcium and B12 and any of the items that are known for vitamin E, even any of the items that are known to help in making skin, nails, and hair flourish. We can get those things naturally. So the other thing is ensure that, because for some people you're naturally deficient in certain things. For me, it's iron. I, for whatever reason, have historically had an iron deficiency, and so I take iron pills periodically when it's low to ensure that I am getting what I need there. So remember to keep in mind that supplements are another way. Supplements is another way to get your nutrition as well, or the appropriate amount of nutrition. The second reason why your locks may be breaking is stress. Internal matters that are going on with us, it is not abnormal for it to come across externally. We see it in weight gain, we see it again in our skin, we see it in how our nails may become brittle. There are times where the mental and emotional impact of things will come across in our hair. Again, it comes to the external. So keep that in mind. If you are having stress, whether it's because of things going on at work, in the family, anything that is affecting you internally in a negative way, if there's an excess amount of it, it is probably coming across in your hair as well, or in your locks. So let's do the things that's necessary to get us back in balance, whether that means taking some self-care and ensuring that you're okay before you start taking care of everybody else. Going and getting our checkups, going and doing our massages, the things that are necessary to sort of give us balance. There are times in our lives where we can't do away with stress. So you have to figure out how to cope with it in a way that it does not internally affect you, which of course in turn affects your outside, like your hair. Okay. The third reason is medication. Just that simple. Many people are on different types of medications, whether it be steroids or anything, painkillers. It could be antibiotics. Certain medications can add stress to your hair. They can weaken your hair in ways that will have your hair to break, have your locks to break. So if you're on certain medications, that's something that between you and your doctor, obviously, you'll want to figure out so that it's not negatively affecting your external as well. Because, you know, many times the external is a confirmation that something is going on internally. So those medications that sometimes you can't do without, you have to see if there's a balance. Again, even in looking at supplements, if there's a balance that can be done with possibly supplements or any type of non-medicinal measures would be ideal. So take that into consideration with medication. Okay. The fourth reason is over-tightening. We've talked about over-tightening in previous videos, and yes, over-tightening can cause your locks to break. Over-tightening is probably one of the highest ranked reasons as to why. We, as I mentioned in previous videos, want our hair to be, you know, extra pulled back and looking as if, you know, it's as sleek as can be. Going too close to the scalp on rotations, it can certainly get to a point, especially if it's continuous and in particular sections. It can definitely get to a point where the lock becomes too weak and you'll end up seeing where it's preparing to break or it's getting ready to break. Okay, so that's number 4, over tightening. Number 5 is how your hair is tied up, right? So like at night, how it's tied up, how it's pinned up for updos, and how it's pulled back into ponytails, right? So the way in which your hair is tied up or put up. If you are wearing the same style daily and it is a style that forces you to pull your hair up, back, in anything that can be tight, anything where, say, a scarf, okay, is on the knot of the scarf is on the same exact spot every single day or every single night, it can cause your locks to break in the areas where the most stress is, or in the area where the ponytail holder may be. So keep in mind, if you're covering your hair or putting it up in an updo, to ensure that you're changing things up a bit so that you can ensure that the same stress is not on the same spot in your hair or on your locks every single time. The best remedy for that is just wearing your hair down, if I'm being really honest with you. I have used ponytail holders in the past and I use them now. I literally don't put them tight. I just pull them back with not even doing a double tie to them or a double loop, if you will. And it's just in order to get it off of my face or get it off of my neck, right? So just keep that in mind when you are using anything to pull your hair up, okay? Now, number 6, lack of moisture. Your hair is too dry, it's brittle. So we've talked before about low maintenance does not mean no maintenance. Our hair still needs moisture. It's necessary for us to have oils and water, specifically water, on our hair, because that water helps to seal off it helps to seal the moisture that we put into our hair. The water helps to seal whatever products that we may be putting in our hair. So if we're using essential oils or any other carrier oils, any olive oil or coconut oil, any of those things, that along with the water can help add moisture. There are obviously products that are in the beauty supply store as well that can be utilized, but those natural oils tend to do best in most of our hair, but I would say if you are not doing anything to add moisture to your hair, and you're seeing breakage or you're seeing weakness in your locks, it's probably because it's too dry. And many times you may not necessarily see it from the outside, but what happens is the inner portion of that lock is starting to weaken. The inner part is starting to weaken, and it takes a bit before you can see it on the outside. So ensure that you're adding your moisture as well as your internal moisture by getting the water in. Water, water, water. Okay. Water's just everything. The skin, just everything. So that's another good way to add moisture, but we do need that external moisture. I don't think I have run across anyone who has natural hair whose hair cannot or does not agree with having water in it. So I would be shocked to hear or see that at any point. So adding water to your hair with your carry or with your oils is going to be important. Okay. Number 7 reason why your locks may be breaking is picking lint. So if you have lint in your hair, and I think we've all been there, it is natural to want to pick it out. And if you're like some people, you will grab whatever's there, a safety pin, a bobby pin, whatever you can get your hands on to try to pick that lint out. Well, what happens is if you're picking lint out and you're focusing on one particular area the whole time, the likelihood is that that area is going to weaken. So be sure that if you are picking lint out, you are not picking it to the extent that you're about to cause holes in your locks. So picking lint is another reason that your locks may be breaking. Okay. Number 8 is permanent color. Permanent color that requires bleach is one of the big reasons that locks can weaken and break. Permanent color using bleach to highlight or lift the color is something where the moisture has to be put into place. Some people, as I've mentioned before with myself, some people's hair cannot take color. My hair, when I was relaxed, when I was loose natural, I cannot take color. Any type of lifting of the hair, it just does not work. And we're not talking about a blonde, or for me it was a lightening of the hair to like a natural brown. And I tried it a few times when I was relaxed and a couple of times when I was loose natural, and it just does not work for me. And it's not a situation of not getting moisture. The hair breaks so fast when I put color in it. Literally the week of, I start to see breakage. That probably sounds crazy, but literally the week of, my hair, it doesn't even have enough time to lose moisture, because as soon as I'm leaving the salon, I'm a day or so after trying to make sure that it's taken care of with moisture. And it just does not work for me. For those of you who may be similar, if you're seeing breakage and you are utilizing color, that may be the culprit. Okay, so the next item, number 9, is waiting too long to retighten. Again, as I've mentioned before, I always feel a bit awkward telling you guys this because I wait so long in between my retightening. But for many people, going too long can cause locks to completely break. So what happens with locks, especially microlocks, is because the hair is so, the locks are so tiny, when the roots grow out, you basically have what looks like, if you really think about it, little strings of hair, right? Little strings of hair that are holding on to a full lock. And even though to you that lock may not be heavy, because remember, it's one individual lock, right? It may not look heavy or feel heavy. On those strands of new growth that's holding on, it's heavy, okay? So going too long to before getting your hair retightened can in fact give the too much stress on the root of the hair and cause the locks to break. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, number 10 is genetics, hereditary. Many people, your hair, just based on the very nature of your bloodline, so to speak, your locks may snap because your hair broke regularly when it was relaxed. It broke regularly when you were loose natural. So there are things, as mentioned earlier, that you can do to try to combat that. Again, the water, the vitamins, all of those things, but some of those things may be genetic, quite frankly. I do believe that there are things that we can do to combat genetics, but you just have to find out what works for you. So if you do all of the things that are needed, the supplements, the water, the moisture, to combat the genetics, you may be able to retain your locks or not have them break. The other thing is, keep in mind that a lot of times when things are genetic, or what I've seen when things are genetic, is if you have breakage in a certain area, if you have a sort of a pattern, if you will, of what happens with your hair based on your mom, your grandmother, your aunt, if it is in a certain section of your hair, remember that locks can be cut into a style, right? So let's say the back of your hair is the part that naturally breaks because it's genetics, and you're doing everything that needs to be done in order to combat the genetics or what's hereditary. You have the ability to have your locks cut into a bob, right? So if the back of your hair is what gets eaten out, if you will, or what breaks regularly, it's okay to get those locks cut into a style. So keep that in mind for those who have those items or have those issues with breakage due to really no fault of their own. That's it, guys. The top 10 reasons why your locks may be breaking. Obviously, there are many, many more, but those are the items that are at the top of my list. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys are being safe, and take care.